No, it's supposed to record, and then
Don't record because you forget. Right, so the directions say practice multiplying and dividing with scientific notation, and then write your answer in both scientific and standard form. So you may have to move the decimal to make it in scientific at the end before it's your final answer. So like if you have like 12.5, you have to move that one place over to make it 1.25 and change the exponent. Okay? All right, so number one. 3 times 10 to the 4th times 7.2 times 10 squared. How do I know that this is a multiplication problem in general? Not because of the x's. Don't say that. Karen's hand was up the quickest.
because they're right next to each other.
What is?
The two problem.
Okay, but what signifies multiplication, Cadence? Between the... Yes. So if there's nothing between parentheses, it's an automatic assumption that it's multiplication. Okay, so right here, because there's nothing between the parentheses, we automatically assume it's multiplication. All right, so I'm gonna multiply the numbers out front. So 3 times 7.2, and this is where you can use your calculator. Okay, so 3 times 7.2 is 21.6. And then this is multiplying same base. So I'm going to add the exponents. So 4 plus 2 is 6. Now, is that scientific notation?
No.
No, because there's more than one number in front of the decimal. So I'm going to have to move that. Okay? So I'm going to take this decimal and I'm going to move it one place over. And I'm going to add 1 to the exponent. And the reason that I'm going to do that is if you think about it, 21.6 times 10 to the 6 takes that 21.6 and moves it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, right? Well, if I have 2.16, I'm actually going to have to move it 7 places to get the same answer. That's why I'm adding 1 onto it. So my final answer in scientific notation is 2.16 times 10 to the 7. And then it wants you to put that into standard form. Okay, so standard form, 7th power, moves the decimal to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'll fill those in with zeros. So that's actually 21,600,000. All right, you all do number 2.
I'm taking several.
Where your math is. Where your mouse is.
Oh, get away from me. So, I've been talking the entire class.
AF. Math.
What are those hands? I'm tired of
All right, so we multiply the number out front, so 1.5 times 5, use your calculator, that's 7.5, times 10, and then this is multiplying same base, so I add 5 plus 3 is 8. Is that what you all got?
Yeah.
So 7.5 times 10 to the positive 8, and then to make that standard form, I move that 8 places to the
Right.
right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put my little zeros in there.
750.
And 750 million. All right, number 3. This one is dividing. So I'm going to divide the numbers out front, and then what am I going to do with the exponents? Subtract them. So I'm going to take the 9 divided by 3, which is 3. And then I'm gonna take the 10 to the 9th divided by 10 to the 7th. Well, 9 minus 7 is 10 to the 2nd. And then to make that into standard form, where does the decimal start? Behind the 3. Behind the 3, so right here is where it's understood to be, so I'm just gonna move it 2 places, 1, 2, so 300. All right, you all do number 4. You want, but if you all don't have a calculator, you really do need to get one.
I do have it, I just don't know where it is.
Well, why don't you put it in the little front pocket of your Chromebook? Let's do that.
Is that go with it? No, all of it.
You're struggling. 9.45 divided by 2.1 is 4.5, and then you can finish it from there, blockhead.
Oh.
All right, and then take the 10s, dividing same base, so I subtract. 7 minus 2 is 5. Okay, and then I'm gonna move that 5 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is 450,000.
Oh, I got that.
Are there any questions about the basic?
Wait, you know I did.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Alright, so on this next slide, they give you some that are in standard and some that are in scientific. I personally would make them both standard and then do just what I did on the front side. Okay? So that 0.00012 times 6 times 10 to the negative second. I'm going to change this to scientific notation first. Now, here's my question. Would you expect your exponent to be positive or negative? Because the number is very small, right? So I'm going to move this until there's only one number in front of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1.2 times 10 to the negative 5. And then I can multiply it times that next one. So if they're not both in scientific, put them both in scientific, and then multiply the numbers out front, add the exponents on the 10. So 1.2 times 6, that's 7.2 times 10, and then I add negative 5 plus negative 2. Negative 7, Taryn?
Just add
You, what?
it. Just add it.
Right.
No.
I multiplied.
Even.
Think about it, what's 12 times 6? 72.
Oh.
It's just a coincidence. Alright, now, to put that in standard, that is negative 7. So I'm going to move it 7 places to the left. So that's why I put the 7.2 over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to put my zeros in there. So 0.0000072. Alright, you all try number 6. Yeah, I've already seen that. They go to the cycle of life. They learn math and.
You trying to include nature over the
Yeah.
This is a question.
Malake.
I didn't do that.
But.
Look at Brian.
Reckon.
Brendan, this person's always attacking after me.
I'm done with it. I'm done with this race.
And look at Ryan.
See, he's done with that. We're not liberals.
Well, you can't do that.
Well, when Tatum's backhands you for getting her in quarantine, we're gonna clap.
You're not allowed to say that.
Am I right?
He hasn't worn it all day. I haven't worn it.
Last week.
Alright, what up? Yeah.
I'm not about to Trevor. Hold my mask.
Ryan wants a minor infraction, my first one this year.
Yeah. Vests don't really do anything. They don't even slow down.
Okay, but it's not, it's.
No, like.
Ryan!
Why did you say together?
Alright, number 6. So 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 times 10 to the negative third.
Whoa.
So I'm gonna take 7.3 times 4. So that's a 29.2 times 10 to the negative 1 plus negative 3 is negative 4. And then I'm gonna have to move it because I need it only to have one number. So I'm gonna move it one place over and I'm gonna add 1. So that'll be 2.92 times 10 to the negative third, because negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Okay? And to move that, to make that into a standard number, I'm gonna move it 3 places left. So 1, 2, 3. 0.00292. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be 28.3? I mean, 22.83.
7.3 times 4. 29.2. The negative 3 came from right here because I had to add 1 to it. Because it was 29.2 to the negative 4.
Never mind. We're not talking.
And number 7, same deal. I'm gonna have to move this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that one. All right, and then I'm gonna divide. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now, here's the thing. When we were learning about dividing same base, I always said to leave it where it was bigger, right? Okay, so where would I leave the 10? On the top, because that's where it's bigger. And I would do big minus small. So negative 3 minus negative 5, which becomes negative 3 plus 5, which is 2. Let's go. And then that would be 2 right there, move it 1, 2, so 200.
Let's go. I got that.
And if you're like, I really don't think my answer looks right, you can check it by taking this one up here. That's 1, 2, 3, taking 0.006 and dividing it by 0.00003, and it is 200.
How does that work?
Well, when you divide by a decimal, when you divide fractions, you are dividing by decimals and dividing fractions are the same. Okay? So when you divide by 1/2, that's the same thing as multiplying by 2. Because when you divide by 1/2, you can't divide fractions, you have to multiply by the flip. So that's why it actually becomes a bigger number. Yes, Brian?
Is it gonna always be like that? But like the scientific, if you just saw the scientific, that was the answer for the standard. Is it always like that?
All right. All right, try number 8. Alright.
I can't put on that. Because my world in my, I got, if I do this, it's like. Yeah.
All your germs are coming out of your mouth anyway.
Not really.
Germs typically don't come out of your nose. You just breathe in the germs with your nose and they come out your mouth.
Wow.
Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 9.6 times 10 to the negative fourth. So I'm gonna do 9.6 divided by 1.2. I got 8 times 10. And then this is divided by 10 to the negative 8. So it's gonna stay on the top with that first figure. So negative 4 minus negative 8. So that's negative 4 plus 8, which is 4. So then that's 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Times that. 80,000.
Yeah, it's just hard.
All right, so on this one, it says a top NBA player can earn about 2.5 times 10 to the 7th dollars each year. $12. If John earns $40,000 per year at his starting job out of college, how many times greater is the NBA player's salary? So it says how many times greater. So when you figure out how many times greater something is, what operation do you have to do? Yes. Huh? Yes, division.
What about algebra? You have
So-
time as well.
Well, that would be how much more. So this just says how many
Yeah,
times
yeah.
greater. Now, another way to think of it is if you have $2 and Brecken has $10, how much more do you have than, like, how many more times than his amount do you have? 5.
He has 2 and I have 8. And he has 4?
No, 2 and 10. So how many times more does he have than you? He has 5 times more than you because it's 10 divided by 2. So when it asks how many times more, it's gonna be that amount divided by the other amount. It's how many times more.
Not in 10 years old.
So that's a lot.
So it's gonna be the 2.5 times 10 to the 7th divided by the 40,000. All right, so that 40,000 on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's gonna be 4 times 10 to the 4th. I'm gonna divide. So 2.5 divided by 4 is 0.625 times 10 to the 7 minus 4, which is 3. Now, here's my question though. That is not scientific notation because there's not one number in front.
Yeah, just.
So I'm gonna have to move this over 1 spot. Now, will that add or subtract 1 to that 3? Subtract 1. And the reason being, and you can check it this way, okay, is if I have 0.625 times 10 to the 3rd, okay, that's gonna move it 3 places to the right, okay, to make it 625. But since that's not scientific notation, it has to be 6.25, so now I only need to move it 2 places to the right to make it a 6.
Maybe 620. 25.
So it's 625 times more. Let me see what time it is. We're at 9:51. I don't even know what time we get out of here. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and cut it off here. Because I want to give you all some time to work on this.